Hey baby girls, today's video is sponsored by Dossier. They are currently running their biggest sale yet, and throughout the whole of November, you can grab your designer-inspired fragrances from up to 50% off. And at the moment, I am obsessing over the musky green tea. This is inspired by the fragrance Creed Silver Mountain Water, and this is a unisex perfume, and it smells insane. Me and my boyfriend both shared this and love it. And Black Friday is the perfect time to pick up gifts just in time for the holiday season. So go ahead and follow the link below and find your favorite perfume for a fraction of the price. Thanks, Dossier. Hey baby girls, today it looks like I'm about to give you a yoga session, but actually I'm going to show you from start to finish how to wax your legs at home. So what we're going to need is an old towel. That is so important, guys. This is number one tip. So you're going to need a wax heater. Obviously you don't need a double one, but this is just what I have. And then I have my wax in here, which I'm going to be using today. And the wax that I'm currently loving at the minute to do a leg wax is a Salon System Just Wax, and this is their soft wax, and I just find this is really easy to use, to work with and apply. So we'll also need some tissues, some wax strips. You can either have paper or fabric, whichever ones you prefer. I always love to use a waxing oil. This is going to save your life when your hands get sticky. After wax lotion, a pre-wax lotion, spatulas, some tweezers if you miss any little hairs, and a carrier bag for your dustbin. So the first things we're going to do is cleanse the leg. So I like to use a pre-wax cleanser. So you want to make sure you've not got any lotions on your legs that you've just freshly got out of the shower and creamed your legs. That will actually prevent the wax from sticking to the legs. And this will just get rid of any creams, lotions, sweat and things like that that sat on our skin. So now my leg is cleansed, I literally can start with my waxing. So listen, this waxing oil is gonna save your life. As soon as your hands feel a bit sticky, use a little bit of that waxing oil and it'll take that sticky waxing sensation off your hands and it'll just make your life so much easier, trust me. So I'm first off going to look at the directions of my hair growth, and all my hairs are growing in a downwards position. So I'm going to apply it in this direction. Do it in small sections. This is also a good tip. So don't go to town and do the whole front of your leg in one go because you're gonna get overwhelmed. So I'm gonna break it down into 2 steps. This makes it a little bit easier. So I'm gonna do the lower half of the leg in 2 sections. So this is my first section and this is my second section. So you want your wax consistency to look a little bit like treacle. So that's when you know that that wax is ready to go on. You could do a little patch test to just make sure the wax temperature doesn't feel too hot. So you can do this on the inside of your arm. Obviously, if it feels really hot, then turn it down, but that temperature feels perfect. It feels warm, not too hot. So I know I'm good to go. What you want to do is twist your spatula constantly because that will stop your wax from dripping. If I was to pick up some wax and then move it straight over to my leg, look at the wax, it's literally dripping everywhere. So we wipe one side of it against the wax heater, twist, 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 until we apply it to our leg, and then we go at a 45-degree angle, just down like that. Pick up another bit. It's nice to keep your leg nice and taut. So just with my other hand, I'm just kind of stretching my leg a little bit. So if you're a little bit larger or you've got more looser skin, definitely give that skin a good stretch to stop it from flexing and moving everywhere. Okay, so now we've done the lower half. I'm not gonna be too crazy and start going on the back of the leg because we'll do that at a separate section. So we're just gonna focus on the front, and then we're gonna pick up our wax strip and we're gonna apply our wax strip about halfway on our leg. Don't apply the wax strip fully like this, because what happens when you apply your wax strip fully like this, you haven't got a tab to pull the wax off and your hands will get so messy. So make sure you've got at least half of your wax strip free so you can pull it off, and then we're literally pulling it off in the opposite direction of the hair growth, just like that. So we're going to apply again, give it a good press and a good rub to make sure that wax is adhered to the strip, and then off, just like that. And then we keep on doing that, working from the bottom up to the top, just like that. And again, try and keep a little bit of a stretch on your leg. This will stop it from hurting as much because it'll stop the skin from moving and pulling. And no, this actually doesn't hurt at all. I know obviously the hairier you are, the darker and coarser the hair, it does tend to hurt a little bit more, but it is so tolerable. Like doing it on yourself, like this doesn't even faze me whatsoever. All that lower half is all off. And I'm gonna show you my hairs on my legs. They're not actually that hairy because I had laser hair removal about 5 years ago, but you can obviously clearly see that there's some black hairs that needed to be removed. So now we're gonna work on the second bit of the lower half, which is this section here. We're not gonna go all the way up to the knee. We're gonna do the knee in a separate section. So just below the knee and under. So you'll be able to clearly see where you've been because you're not gonna have hair there. So we're gonna just ever so slightly overlap where we was. So just under the knee, and we're just gonna take it and wax. So a lot of people at the minute keep commenting on my YouTube videos saying that these aren't spatulas and that they're called
popsicle sticks.
Popsicle sticks. I'm not gonna lie, I've never heard that saying in my life. Remember, I'm from the UK, and here in the UK, we call these things spatulas. Okay, so we've applied our wax to this area. In fact, I reckon I can come a little bit further with this bit, look, just here, like that. And then, exact same way as we did last time, giving it a good rub and pulling off. And you can see I'm constantly stretching with my other hand. I'm pulling my skin up nice and tight. Makes your life easier, makes it hurt less, makes the wax strip come off easier for a cleaner finish. That is the front of the leg complete. And a little bit more hair there to go with it. So the knee is one of the trickier areas. First of all, I like to give the knee a little warm up. That helps the wax come off a bit better. So we're going to apply our wax on our knee with our knee bent. Don't apply it with your knee straight. It's so much easier with your knee bent. And we're going to start at the top of the knee and we're going to bring it to the bottom of the knee. We're going to overlap a little bit. So I obviously have waxed that little section there, but I want to make sure I don't miss anything. So I'm going to just kind of overlap that area a little bit. And you can see I'm using my other hand at the back of my leg just to keep my skin nice and taut and stretched. Be careful of your elbows, don't stick your elbow in it. Remember, I'm still swizzling my stick, my spatula, to make sure I don't drop any. Even after I've done the wax, I still swizzle it just to make sure I don't drop anything. We're gonna apply our strip with a good half a tab still free. We're gonna give it a good push. So this, we really wanna give it a good push and then pull. And we're gonna go in the exact same way as I did before. So I kind of work around. So I'm gonna do that top bit. And then we're gonna go back to this side. Okay, right, here. So first of all, the wax, you can see, has stuck to this bit here. So what we're gonna do, get rid of this wax strip, get rid of that paper, get a fresh one, and we're gonna push it down a bit harder and pull. And can you see, it's come off. So it just needed a little bit more pressure with our hands to remove it. That's all it needed. So don't panic, don't get yourself into a tiz if it doesn't come off. Just hold it with a little bit more pressure, a little bit more of a stretch, and it'll come off. So I felt like my hands were a little bit sticky, so I'm just using a little bit more of that oil just on my hands, just to release that stickiness, and it makes my life so much easier. And right now we have waxed all the front of the leg and all the knee. And actually, I can see a little bit of wax residue still on my knee, so I'm just gonna get a fresh strip, and just with my finger, I'm just pressing it until it releases. Okay, we're moving on to the top of the leg. We want to apply our leg straight, and if you lift your foot up like this, it'll keep this area nice and tight, which will make our lives easier to wax. And we're gonna apply the wax all over the top of the leg, growing again, following again in the hairs growing in that direction. So we're gonna do this all in one piece because this is an easy piece to do. So working from this side, I'm going to apply the wax and overlap just that little bit where I've been on the knee, just to make sure I don't miss any areas again. And I'm literally doing the whole of this front of the top of the leg. Why does it feel like so nice, the wax, when it actually goes on though? Like, it's like the nicest feeling. It feels so nice. Right, okay. Same method as I've taught you. You're probably bored of this now, but leave a good half a tab free, pull and stretch. Just like that. And again, can you see that I was leaning back just a bit, just to stop the wax from flicking on me? When we're about to do this little section on the inner corner, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just tilt my leg a little bit like this, and I'm gonna change the direction of my strip because this area is a lot more fleshy and movable. So what I'm gonna do with this section is I'm gonna put my strip on in this direction, like here, so sideways, hold and pull. Hold under here and pull. Hold and pull. Hold and pull. If I was to pull off in that direction, it would have come off, but it will have just hurt a little bit more, and I could have possibly got a little bit of bruise in there because this area is really fleshy. So yeah, just by changing that angle makes your life so much easier. So that is the whole of the front of the leg complete, and now I'm going to turn over and show you how to do the back of the leg. Okay guys, we are doing the backs of the legs, which is definitely the trickiest, most hardest part of the whole entire leg wax. We rotate our leg like this, so we can see most of the back of the leg. And we're going to, you can see where you've been, because obviously you can see the areas that's hairy and the area that isn't, and we're just going to apply as far around as you can get. And then once we've waxed this section, we will then move to this side and we'll do the same here. And instead of doing it in two halves this time, I'm going to do it in long ones. We're not going to half it this time because this bit is a little bit easier to pull off. So apply. Apply. Normally you can only get away with maybe about 3 spatulas, because you can't quite reach round to do that other side. So that's probably as far as I can get without basically it dripping everywhere. So we're just gonna go to as much as stretch as you can get round there. And then we're gonna remove with our strip. So keep your foot flexed like this, because it's gonna keep your ankle nice and straight. And then the exact same way, make sure you've got half a tab, and we're going to pull off. Working our way up and then down. So this time you can see I'm not stretching anything with my other hand, and that is because my leg is doing the stretch. My foot is flexed like this, so my foot is actually stretching the back of my calf, so I don't need an extra hand to stretch. And that's it, that's that section done. So then we're gonna scoot round to this side and we're gonna follow the line we've just been, and again, I think there's only one strip there, and then that back of the leg's done. So again, it depends how far you manage to reach round. I actually did quite a good job, so it's just that little section just there, and I'm just going to make sure I've not missed anything, so I'm just going to overlap that section there as well, just to make sure I haven't missed anything. And then keep your leg flexed again. Ooh. And we're going to remove the wax. Yeah, that's perfect. And then we're gonna do the back of the top of the leg now, which again is a little bit trickier. So this is how I find is the best and easiest way. So first of all, I'm gonna take off my jumper because I'm getting warm and I don't want that to get waxy. So the backs of our legs do grow slightly different directions. So try and have a good look and see which direction your hair is growing in. So I can see My hairs are growing in this direction here, so they're actually growing up here. So I tend to pick my leg up and I kind of apply my wax like that. If you think that's really difficult and you're struggling to hold your leg up, you can actually stand up and you can do it in this direction here. So it's up to you what you feel more comfortable doing. So we're dipping our wax, picking our leg up, and we are literally just going to apply. Can you see I'm still swizzling? I'm not flexible either, by the way. I'm like the least flexible woman in the world. I don't do yoga, I don't do Pilates. So yeah, if you're someone who does that, this definitely will be easier. But yeah, if you're aging and your muscles aching and your body's aching, it's definitely gonna get a bit harder, you're right. Right, I've managed to get around that section. So I'm now just going to pull off in this direction. I look like I'm holding a guitar. So we're kind of doing this blind because I actually can't physically see what I'm doing under here, but I'm just like, almost like following with my, I guess, yeah, with my sensors. So obviously I'm doing this a little bit blind because I haven't got a mirror in front of me, but you can have a mirror right underneath you or in front of you so you can see what's going on. I ain't got a clue what's going on there, I need a mirror. Get me that little mirror.
I thought of you as a professional.
Even professionals can't do it without a mirror. That mirror there, Corey? Thank you. Do you know what? That's actually not a bad job. It's only those bits there. So I'm going to apply and just pull off those sticky bits. Okay, so we've done that whole section there. The only bit that I haven't now done is this little crease that we have here at the back of our knee. But a lot of people tend to not actually get any hair there. So that area tends to be the least hairiest area for some people. But if you have got darker hair and you are a little bit more hairier, you probably will find you do have hair there. If you do, I'm going to show you how you would do this. So you would stretch your leg out as tight as you can. And you just, again, just try and stretch and reach as far around as you can get. I'm even going to turn my spatula ever so slightly. And then once we've managed to get all the wax there, we're just going to pull off again. So this area is a little bit more sensitive, so don't press down too hard. And then I couldn't quite reach from that side. So I'm just kind of going to give it a stretch and pull. And then make sure that's all hair free. And make sure it feels smooth, no wax. That's it. So I'm now just going to use a little bit of my after wax oil just on my legs. This is going to stop if there's any sticky bits. It just makes the leg feel nice and smooth. And then my favourite bit is the after lotion. So I'm just going to pump out a little bit of after lotion and then we're just going to apply that to our legs and we'll let that sink in and soak in. And that is how you do a full leg wax at home. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. Bye.